Next question. Lullaby had a look that was so different from Shreveport. A great look to it. What will the look to Peril be? Thank you. That's a good question. You know, what we did with the last Lullaby is once we raised the money for Lullaby, that's when we started scouting locations, and that's when we started casting. We'll do the same thing this time around. The movie is set in the Midwest, just like Lullaby was. Lullaby was set in Ohio and Wisconsin, but we shot all in and around Shreveport, Louisiana for Lullaby and just cheated it as Ohio and Wisconsin. And Peril is set in St. Louis, and we'll do the same thing. Although we're budgeted right now for 28 days for Peril, and 2 days are to actually go film in St. Louis. The other 26 days will be in the Shreveport, Louisiana area. I mean, the look, that's a good question. I mean, that's something that right now I'm so focused, I guess, on the financials and putting the money together, and I have my businessman uniform and hat on right now. I can't say that I've completely locked down the look for Peril. I mean, I'm watching a lot of movies right now. I mean, those are some of my favorite, or I guess my best sources of inspiration. So, I'm watching a lot of movies now. Every now and then I'll catalog something that I think, wow, that has a really interesting feel to it, and something that maybe I'd like to explore here. But I can't say I know for sure what the look for Peril will be quite yet. I mean, once the money's in place, then I'll kind of take off the businessman uniform for the most part and become more the creative and think more about those things. But I guess for me I can't multitask that well quite yet. But good question. Next question. What was the hardest thing about making an indie film? Well, I think a couple things. I mean, I think one thing is just the energy it requires. There's a great book I read. I think it's called My First Movie. You can get it off of Amazon. It's interviews with 20 famous filmmakers talking about their very first feature-length film, and I think it's people like Spielberg and Oliver Stone and a bunch of other people. I highly recommend it. It's a great book, and it's amazing how many of the famous directors in that book talk about stamina and just how physically grueling the whole process is of making a film from start to finish, because it's such a long process. It's such an intense process, and none of it's really easy. So I think the stamina, number one, and the stamina as a director to just have enough energy at all times to kind of continue to fight for what you're after. Sometimes you've got to fight with the people giving you money to sort of believe in what you're doing. Sometimes you got to push your actors to push themselves. I mean, sometimes you got to fight with your producer to give you an extra hour on set. So just always kind of having the energy and reminding yourself that what, at a certain point this is going to be done, and I'm going to have to forever live with this, and I don't want to have to look at it and go, God, I remember that one day when I was really tired, and I can't believe I let that go just because I didn't have enough energy to fight for it, and now I've got to live with this forever. It's never going to change. So just having the stamina to see the process through from start to finish, and to fight for what drove you to make it in the first place, and to fight for those things on a daily basis, whether it's in pre-production, production, or post-production. And then the other thing, I mean, selling a film is really, really difficult, and navigating distribution and everything you have to do once the film is done. I self-distributed the last Lullaby, and I mean that was a really grueling process. I was booking all the theaters. I was having to organize shipping all the prints, and making sure everyone had marketing materials, and making sure I had spoken with press in each city where the film was playing. So all that's extremely labor intensive, and the sales process is a tough one. So I would say just stamina and the process of selling a film at this point have been the two most difficult things for me about making The Last Lullaby, which was my first feature-length film. Good question. Next question. Let's see. Delaware still up for grabs. You want to shoot here? Okay, great. Thank you. And then where exactly are you? And You guys, if you have more questions, I'll certainly take them. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm not signing off yet. You're tuning in for the latest chat on the upcoming independent film Peril. I'm Jeffrey Goodman, the director, and appreciate all of you being here. We're recording tonight's chat, and I'll repost it probably this weekend on YouTube and on Facebook. I hope all of you will spread the video to it once it's up, and I hope if you're not already that all of you will join the Facebook group for the film. I would be curious at a certain point. We don't have to have this conversation tonight, but I'm trying to figure out what's better at this point. Is it better to have a fan page for the film, or is it better to have a group for the film? Right now we have both, but I've been primarily promoting the group. At some point, though, we should all have a discussion about the benefits of a fan page versus a group and all of that, but we won't do that tonight, but I'm just throwing that out. Okay, I'll take a few more questions. I'll just look over here. If you can see and hear me, but you don't know how to dialogue with me, there's a chat pop-up. Make sure you just enable that chat pop-up, and that enables you to send in questions. I can see them, and I'll let those drive the conversations. Next question, where exactly are you now in the development process? Well, that's a good question. About a year and a half ago, I raised the money to have the script written. So the script for Peril is written, and I am really 100% focused on raising the money. The last lullaby was financed by 49 investors, 48 of which are from the Shreveport-Bossier area, and Peril is being put together in much the same way. I kind of raise the money for my films myself, and so I'm raising the money right now. Things are going real well on that front, but I guess you just never know how quickly it's going to go. So that's where I am. I'm wholly and 100% focused on raising the money right now, and that's what I'm doing full time, and that's what I'm doing every day. The script's in a great place, and I just have to get the money in place for us to take the next step, which would be bringing on a producer, bringing on a casting director, starting to scout locations, starting to really look at cast, and starting to make some more of the creative decisions. Next question, let's see. What exactly are you, where exactly, oh, no, I already answered that, sorry. Is the budget for Peril going to be the same as it was for Lullaby? No, Peril is slightly bigger than Lullaby. Actually, Peril is about, I guess, about 40 to 50% bigger than Lullaby. So, to some people, I guess that's similar ballpark. To other people, there's a major discrepancy there. But it is, compared to, according to most people, it is a small budget film, but it is slightly bigger than Lullaby was. Both will work. Okay, what's your favorite part of the production process? I really love collaborating. I mean, the great thing about making a film is that you get to work with all these talented people who are really, really good at what they do. And so, once you get to the part where you're actually making the movie and you're getting to work with really talented actors and you're getting to work with really talented craftsmen, and you're having conversations about what you're trying to do, and you're all trying to do this thing to the best of your abilities together, and you're all in this challenge and in this incredibly satisfying but incredibly intense and challenging experience together, and you're all trying to navigate it as well as you can. I mean, to me, that's probably the single most exhilarating part of the process is all going on this adventure and on this journey together, trying to make the best work we can.